Hey y'all, how are you doing? I recently learned that Netflix's stock has plummeted, so there's a Forbes article that is circulating, and it says that the stock has dropped by $30 billion, or at least the overall value of the Netflix brand has dropped by almost $30 billion, and this is because they fell short of their projected estimate of gaining 5 million subscribers. They were only able to gain 2.6 million subscribers over the past year, and so they fell short of their original forecast, and thus their stock dropped in value. There's also looming competition from Apple and Disney. Just like optically, it just doesn't look good for Netflix. So this has led to bad PR, and everyone is commenting on it and taking this opportunity to kind of pile it on Netflix. Now, I'm not the type to hop on the bandwagon or hop off one or just jump ship just because everyone else is panicking. I try to take a step back and formulate my own opinion. I don't really follow trends, but I have to say that I think they have a point here, because what this reminded me is that I really haven't been watching Netflix. I've been watching more Amazon Prime. I think the last thing I saw on Netflix to completion, because I start a lot of things but I never finish it, the last thing I watched and kind of enjoyed was the Fire Festival. I did enjoy it. I enjoy documentaries on confidence jobs, on con artists. And the last great thing that I watched from Netflix is Wild Wild Country, which was great, admittedly. This was on a cult leader, and I love watching documentaries on cults and cult leaders, so it was really up my alley. But besides that, I've been watching a documentary on Topps baseball trading cards for the past 2 weeks. It's only an hour and a half, but I've been watching it in 5-minute increments, so I'm still not done with it. Most of the times I'm on Amazon Prime, and Amazon Prime has added shows like Eerie, Indiana, and recently they also added Comic Book Man. I watched Comic Book Man for the past month. I thought that it actually ended after season 2, because when I still had basic cable before I cut the cord, I never saw a third season airing on AMC, but apparently it went up to season 7 because Amazon added it to its offerings, and I noticed that they had 7 seasons. So I've been getting a kick out of that. I think it's my favorite feel-good show of all time. It just puts me in a really lighthearted mood every time I watch it. I've also been watching Eerie Indiana. Eerie Indiana is an adolescent show. This is a show that came out when I was still a kid, and I know it's going to sound corny, but I used to go to Saturday morning school to learn Korean, my second language, and so unfortunately, due to a scheduling conflict, I couldn't see Eerie Indiana usually. I only got to see like 2 or 3 episodes, but I liked what I saw. Eerie Indiana is about a kid who moves into a suburban neighborhood, and things just aren't quite right. There are a lot of paranormal activity, and I don't want to compare it to Twilight Zone because it's kind of a lackadaisical comparison that everybody makes. I'd say it's closer to Twin Peaks, but for teenagers. However, it makes so many grown-up references like Wall Street and municipal corruption and so many other references that will fly over the heads of teenagers. So it's just a strange, wonderful hybrid between a show for adolescents and adults. But I highly recommend looking into it. The other show that I've been watching is All or Nothing. This is a documentary series usually following a NFL football team. They also had one following a rugby team. Now, I don't watch football or rugby, but I watched this documentary because I just love the way they shoot it. I like the way that they follow the players and the athletes, and I like watching them just practice and play the games because it psychs me up, it motivates me and inspires me before my workouts, which I dread. So watching this kind of pumps me up for the workouts, kind of, not really. Speaking of documentaries on sports that I don't watch, I also watched a great eSports documentary. eSports is basically about video game athletes, video gamers who compete in video games. So this was about a video game called StarCraft 2. I don't play StarCraft, but the title of the documentary was called Game Changers, Dreams of BlizzCon. And it just follows the video game competitors in the game of StarCraft 2. And it was absorbing only because the focus was on the human journey. I really enjoyed it. Other than that, I love how Amazon has so many selections of just nostalgia movies from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and up. And they also allow you to review and rate the movies. Netflix really made a bad move when they removed the rating system, because when people don't know how good a movie is, they actually have to disengage from the website. They have to leave the website to check if a movie is worth watching. Usually when you leave a website, the chances of you returning to it is kind of slim. So I don't know why they got rid of the rating system, because it forces people to leave the website and they might not return to it. But yeah, I prefer the user interface on Amazon. It also has trailers. One of my favorite pastimes is watching trailers for old movies that I don't even watch. I know that Netflix is really investing in their original content, but I haven't really been watching many of their original content. Like I said, I've seen some of the documentaries, but I'm not really into Adam Sandler. It just never got better than Billy Madison. And I know that a lot of people like Stranger Things, but I tried to watch the first episode a couple years ago, and I remember failing to complete it because it just did not really do it for me. I found the writing to be watered down and mediocre and generic. I don't know, maybe I need to give it another shot, but I couldn't really tell the characters apart. They didn't really make much of an impression on me. I feel like the pilot episode is critical in compelling me to invest my time into the rest of the show. But usually when too many people like a certain show, there's a good chance I probably won't like it. My favorite dramas are Mad Men and Hibana Spark. Hibana Spark or Spark Hibana is a Japanese drama that is an absolute hidden gem. It flew completely under the radar, but it's the best thing to come out of Japan alongside Cowboy Bebop. And it's actually available on Netflix. I almost forgot Black Mirror. Black Mirror has always had interesting concepts, but terrible execution. I prefer the Amazon equivalent, which is called Electric Dreams, based on short stories by Philip K. Dick, and it has far superior execution. I recently watched the Miley Cyrus episode for Black Mirror that was completely overhyped, and I just found it really lackluster, and it just seemed like one of those movies a long time ago when Disney would release straight to Disney Channel movies. It seemed like the Halloween special. I don't really watch Netflix that much anymore. More often than not, I'm just scrolling through it to see what the new additions are. It's been months since I've seen anything from Netflix that really warranted a subscription. Anyway, all of this doom and gloom about Netflix has kind of made me wonder, do I really need Netflix right now? I don't see any foreseeable Netflix originals that interest me. I'm actually really considering canceling Netflix. I'd like to know if you still have Netflix and if you plan on keeping it or canceling it based on the recent goings-on. And if you have canceled it, where are you streaming your content? Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you later. Bye. I don't know why they call it a kids show, plural, but then when they call it an adult show, they don't call it an adults show. It's just singular, adult show. And anyway,